Alright, so MLB The Show 22 came out a few days ago for everybody who bought the MVP or Digital Deluxe versions of the game, and it's coming out today, the day that this video is coming out, for everybody else. So today, I'm going to be making a video that's going to be part of a 3-part series going over everything that you need to learn when it comes to the controls for MLB The Show 22. I did this back in 21, and a lot of people seem to enjoy that I did it, so I'm going to do it again. Now, I'm not necessarily like an expert on every single thing. I'm not going to give you the best tips for every single thing. It always comes down to personal preference. That's at least what I believe. And I'm just here to kind of show you how everything works, where to find it, and just how to use it. So like the title said, we're going to be going over all of the hitting mechanics for the game. If there's anything specific that you want to see, there will be like that thing like in the video itself where you can skip over to specific things. I'll have everything timestamped for you guys. So if there's anything specific you want to see, you'll be able to go there right away. So anybody who doesn't want to have to sit here and wait for the video, you don't have to, and you should be able to just go find the things that you need to go find. But anyway, we're going to be going into the game. We are in the custom practice area that's at the very bottom of the main menu. This is obviously the main menu. You just go down and you go all the way down to custom practice. This is where we're going to be showing everything off because you can practice pitching, hitting, and fielding here, which is actually really nice. All right, so the first thing that we're going to want to do before we even consider swinging the bat is we're going to have to go to the options and look at all the different things that we want to work with here. For those of you who maybe want to use what I use, this is my main thing: strike zone 2, zone hitting, and then for the PCI stuff, here's everything that if you want to just copy, go nuts. If not, again, up to personal choice. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about when it comes to hitting is the difficulty. The difficulty in MLB The Show determines how fast a pitch is going to be coming in and how much easier it is to hit a ball. The difficulties range from beginner all the way to legend. If you're playing ranked seasons early on, you're going to be starting on All-Star. Most of the events will probably also be on All-Star, and Battle Royale is also always on All-Star. The only one that really changes is ranked seasons. As you move along, you'll be going up to Hall of Fame, and then if you make the World Series, you'll be playing on Legend. There's also the dynamic difficulty that will change depending on how you play and where you put it. If you put yourself, let's say, in Veteran, and you're not doing very good at it, it will bring you to Rookie. If you continue to not do well, it'll bring you to Minors. Whereas if you continuously do good, then it'll bring you to All-Star, Hall of Fame, and then so on and so forth. The one that I use for a lot of offline things is All-Star. And I'm going to quickly show you how the PCI fares so you can kind of get an idea of how easy it is for a ball to be hit on the lower difficulties, and then all the way up to Legend so you can kind of get an idea of how difficult it is to hit on the higher difficulties. So something else that you might have noticed is that the pitchers come in a lot faster in the more difficult settings as well. So as you rank up in, let's say, ranked seasons, this is something that you're going to want to have to practice before you really dive deep into doing it. Next up, we're going to be talking about the hitting views. There are a lot of hitting views, zooming from the Show 16 all the way to offset zoom. There are 16 different hitting views in total, so you're going to want to have to go through it and find the one that suits you best. So yeah, it'll all kind of depend on what you really want. Do you want to be up close to the thing? Because if so, then you're going to want something like strike zone 2, strike zone higher, strike zone offset. If you want to be more further away and kind of being able to like see the player with their like different stances, then you might want to go with like something like wide or zoom or the show 15, the fish eyes, catcher high. Those are more of the ones where you get to see the stances of all the different batters. So of course, that's up to you. It's personal preference. Most competitive people you'll see will probably use some sort of iteration of the strike zone. So most people that you probably watch when it comes to this game are probably using some sort of strike zone camera. Now, once we've dealt with that, we're going to be moving on to the hitting interface. Now, there are 3 different ways that you can swing to hit the ball. You can use timing, directional, and zone. For those of you who have played like old MLB The Shows, like 2009, maybe even like 2007, 11, you know, in that general area, timing is probably something that you're very, very used to. To my knowledge, this was like the main way that you were able to hit before they added anything like zone. I will say though, for some reason this year, they got rid of the pure analog. Pure analog was using the right stick to swing at the ball. You would push up to swing normally, or you would hold back and then push forward to get a power swing. They got rid of that this year. So we're going to go over each of the different ones. We're going to be starting with timing. Now, of course, when it comes to timing, the only thing you really have to worry about is pressing the button when the ball gets there. You know, I'm going to change something real quick so we can actually have strikes so I can show everything off a lot easier. 1 second. When you go to practice type, if you want to make sure that the pitchers are throwing strikes all the time, just go into the batting, and then click all these. You can click any specific one, and then the pitch will always be there. But you know, I don't want it to always be in the same spot, so I'm just going to click them all, and then we'll be good from here on out. So anyway, what I was trying to say was, yes, all you really want to do is press the button to be able to hit the ball when it reaches the plate. It's as simple as that. The only thing that is different compared to this and something like zone is you will not have control of how the ball is hit. When you're using something like zone, you're able to kind of make it more like you're going to hit a fly ball or hit a ground ball because that is in your control. Now, of course, we got to go over how do you hit? What are the specific buttons? Just in case there's anybody new. Now, I'm going to go over this for all 3 systems to make this hopefully easier for everybody to understand. So for the PlayStation, it is X button for the normal swing, circle for contact, square for power, and triangle for bunting. Now, when it comes to an Xbox controller, A is a normal swing, B is for contact, X is for power, and Y is for bunting. And then for those of you who are playing on the Switch, B is for normal, A is for contact, Y is for power, and X is for bunting. Now to kind of go over all the differences of those, the normal swing is just normal. It's not going to like try to provide you with the most pop. It's not going to try to make it to where you can hit any and everything that's in the zone. Normal is just normal, you know, it's average all around. Now, contact swings are more for those who want to make sure that they can kind of hit anything and everything. These are the people, when you use a contact swing, it's more likely that you're at the very least going to make contact to hit it in play or at the very least foul it off on a tough pitch. Then we come to square, which is the power. That is going to have a higher chance of hitting the ball further, but it comes at the cost of potentially missing the ball or just not getting it as well in the sweet zone of the bat. Like as you can see with some of the ones that I'm doing here, I'm power swinging, but there is definitely a higher chance that it can go further. However, it is also a higher chance that you're going to just barely nick the ball rather than actually get solid wood on it. Something like that can happen, or you'll have times where you'll just barely nick it and kind of like foul it off, something like that. And then of course, to end it off, we have bunting. Now, the way that you can control bunting is the right stick. When you're trying to bunt, use the right stick. If you press left, you'll have a higher chance of bunting it to the left side of the infield. If you press the right stick to the right, you'll have a better chance of bunting it to the right side of the infield. This goes for all the different types of hitting, so no need to worry about it for zone or directional or, you know, obviously with this one. But yeah, that basically goes over all the different buttons and how they work. So now we're going to be moving into directional, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't see the difference between this and the timing. I kind of figured that directional in the past was the exact same as timing, just you get to move the camera. Because I've tried, you know, doing something like this where I'll hold the top right to see if I can maybe influence the direction of the thing. But for the most part, if you would throw a ball inside, that would help too. But it doesn't really seem like it's really doing too much in terms of trying to influence, like per se. If you're trying to hold up for a fly ball, I've done this and then gotten like ground balls, so it's not necessarily something that works all the time, if at all. So I think when it comes to something like timing or directional, I think it kind of comes down to like preference of how you want to do it. If you want to be able to make the camera move a little bit to get maybe a different angle of like the pitcher, go nuts for it. Now, of course, I could be wrong, and this obviously could be kind of influential of how it works, but I don't know. I haven't seen it be too influential. Just kind of going through it and playing with it every now and then. Alright, so something that I saw that I should probably point out before I get comments about it. Yes, you can play with analog. I see the input type. You can play with buttons and or analog, depending on how you want to do it. So, the analog does work. You can use the right stick by pushing it up. That's just your normal swing. By holding it back and then pushing forward, that is your power swing. And then if you want to push it left or right, I'm pretty sure that is your contact swing. But holy crap, I got a perfect on a contact swing, so you know what, I'm gonna take it. But now we got to talk about the last one, which is the zone hitting. Before we take a look at the zone hitting, we got to talk about the PCI. The PCI is what the zone uses to hit the ball. PCI, of course, meaning the plate coverage indicator. To quickly show you, this is the PCI. This is the PCI that I currently use, but we're going to quickly go over all the differences that you guys can maybe do for your own PCI. So the PCI consists of three different things: a center, an inner, and an outer zone. The center zone are those little things that you saw in the middle of mine. It can be circles, it can be altitude, it can be diamonds. Those are the three different things that it can be. Personally, I'm using circles. That is the one that I enjoy using the most. Now, the one that I currently do not have on my PCI is the inner. The inner is the main section of the PCI of where your bat works. Whenever you see your PCI placement, you'll see a bigger circle and then a littler circle. The littler circle is the inner, and that is where your bat covers. For the different things for the inner, we have the basic, wedge, starfighter, and fishbowl. Now, the outer PCI more so helps when it comes to having to foul something off. If you've ever seen anybody kind of complain about there's too many foul balls in MLB The Show, I'm going to say that this specific thing is probably the reason why. But the different outer PCIs we have are basic, outline, reverb, and starfighter. Now the last things that we're going to talk about the PCI are the color, transparency, and fade out. So there are many different colors, from red to blue to green, black, white, yellow, orange. There are many different colors that you can choose from. Obviously, choose the one that looks best to you. Then from there is the transparency of the PCI itself. You can set it anywhere from 100% all the way down to 20%. If you want it to be, you know, obviously like how I have it to where it's right there and you can see it and you can't see behind it, then you're going to want to put it at 100. If you want it a little less, then you obviously make the adjustment that you need to make for the PCI. And then you have the fade out, where you can specifically make certain things fade out when a pitch is being delivered. Say you have all three on just to kind of have an idea, but you don't want the outer one to be on. You can make it to where when the pitch is being delivered, the outer section disappears. Then of course you can make the center and outer disappear, the inner and outer, or all. Or you can make it to where you have the specific ones that you want with the center, outer, or inner, and then you can just set the fade out to none. That way nothing disappears from you. But now we can go talk about how to hit with zone. So with zone, you use your left stick to kind of control where the bat is going to swing. So as we can see here, leaving it in the middle, as you can see in the bottom left, the PCI is in the middle of the zone and it covers, you know, a decent amount because this is all-star difficulty. Now the PCI gets bigger and smaller, like I kind of said when we were talking about the hitting in the timing section with all of the different swings. Square is going to have a more condensed. X, you can see, was just a normal, and then the contact is going to have a bigger zone. So as you can kind of see, I can press circle in the middle, and for the most part, I'm probably gonna be fouling off a lot of things, or at least making solid contact. Like I didn't move it. You can see how big the outer circle is, and you're gonna be able to foul it off. Now again, I know there's a lot of people who sit there and are like, there's too many foul balls. But as you can see, just by using circle, I can foul off a lot of different things just by leaving my thing in the middle of the zone. So yeah, when it comes to zone, it's mainly just moving around and trying to hit. Now they added something new this year that could potentially help out more people. They added in a PCI Anchor. If you hold in the left stick, as in you have the left stick, you push it in, you can then move it around to pick the starting spot that you want for your PCI. If you want to start it a little up, you can start it a little up. As you can see now, my PCI is up higher, but maybe you want to start it down. As you can see here, my PCI is now starting lower. Now you do not have to move your stick from this point. You can leave it there. It will stay there until the end of your specific at-bat. When a new player comes up, then it will switch back to the normal starting in the center position, and then you have to bring it to the position again. Now, the way that I do it is I move my thing to wherever I want to. Say I want it up, I move it up, and then I click. I feel like that's an easier way of doing it than trying to click and drag, because it may not work perfectly. That's just how I do it. I move up and then click, and then I'm good to go. Or I move down and I click, and then I'm good to go. Or whatever it is that you want to do. I have a feeling that the PCI Anchor is going to be really dependent on the person, because some people like to look up, some people like to look down. It all really depends on how you kind of look at where the pitcher is going to throw and all the different pitches. If you have somebody who maybe specializes in a lot of breaking balls, you may want to look down more. But if you were facing somebody like a DeGrom, a Corbin Burns, a Nolan Ryan, where they have like 99, 100 mile per hour fastballs, and you know the person that you're going to be going up against loves spamming high fastballs, then you might want to start up. So it's honestly depending on your preference of where you like to start the PCI and probably where your opponent just likes to pitch. So I'm going to be completely honest. I, to this point, have not found the exact spot that I would want my PCI Anchor to be. I've done up, I've done down, I've even done something where I kind of start it where the pitcher is throwing. If the pitcher is right-handed, I kind of start it here, I move it over a little bit, and then, you know, obviously go from there. But if it's a lefty, then I'll do it on the other side so I can kind of follow the path of the pitcher's arm and follow the ball from there. Those are at the very least the ways that I have tried to do it. Now, one last thing that I want to talk about before we end off the video is the guest pitch feature. For new players, you may be going, guest pitch, isn't that kind of cheating? Well, it's only able to be used on like offline stuff. If you want to use it for franchise, road to the show, stuff like that, you can turn it on and use a bunch of different things. Honestly, I would say if you really want to use it, test out each different one with however you want to hit to see which feels the best for you or which doesn't interfere with you as much. Now, when it comes to the guest pitch feature, what you really want to do is before you get into an at-bat, you want to hold down the back right button. I think this is flipped. I mean, it's kind of back right for you guys, but you want to hold down this button. And then from there, obviously the pitcher won't be able to do it. And then you can kind of pick the spot that you want to choose where you think the pitcher's going to throw with your left stick. If you're right, you'll get something. If not, then no. As you can see, I got right, and it moved my thing directly to the right position. Now, what you can also do is you can press any of the buttons correlating to the pitches like X to see if they're going to throw that pitch instead. Now, you'll be able to tell that you're right because the ball will flash a specific color. If it flashes blue, that means that it's going to be a ball. If it flashes red, that means it's going to be a strike. And then from there, if you really want to, you can try to guess the pitch and the exact space, but that's, not the easiest thing to do. But if you manage to do it, it'll light up, it'll move the thing there if you're using zone, and then you'll just be able to see that you're right and swing away. But yeah, that's basically everything that we have to talk about when it comes to hitting. If there's any other questions that you may want to know that maybe I kind of skipped over, because I'm sure there's going to be at least one or two things that I may have skipped over, then leave them down in the comments below and I will answer you as soon as I can. Over the next few days, we'll also be having the pitching, fielding, and running tutorials as well. The fielding and base running will be together, whereas pitching will be by itself, kind of like how the batting was. But all in all, I just hope that the video helped any of you who maybe want to know how specific things work. And that's just my main goal, just to make sure that if I can help somebody kind of figure out some things that they maybe didn't know, that's all we're really here for. But anyway, that's going to end it for me. Thank you for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed, and hope to see y'all next time.